Salutations! Today we'll be doing the first problem from the 2019 WMTC. And don't ask me what it stands for, okay? Because I don't know. So it says symbol square bracket x, another square bracket, represents the largest integer up to x. So this means if we have 3.5 in the square brackets, it would this would output 3, because 3 is quote-unquote the largest integer up to x, which is 3.5. In other words, the largest integer that is smaller than the number inside the brackets. The largest integer that is smaller than the number inside the brackets. So we just need to find what this equals to, and then we can find the largest integer that is smaller than all of that. So first we have all these sines and cosines, but don't let it fool you. These are actually rather basic if you know your triangles. So for the sine 45 and cosine 45, we can use the 45, 45, 90 right triangle, or the isosceles right triangle. So 45 would be, let's mark this one. The sine would be the opposite over the adjacent. Sorry, the opposite over the hypotenuse. So that would be 1 over square root of 2. And then we have cosine of 45, which is the same thing, because let's say we still mark this angle, we would have adjacent over hypotenuse, which is the same thing. So this is also equal to cosine of 45. Now how about cosine of 30? For this one, we would need the 30, 60, 90 right triangle, or half of an equilateral triangle. So 30 is this. The 30 degree angle is this one over here. And we have the side length ratio 1 to square root 3. So the cosine of 30 would be 3 over 2. So let's write that down. The cosine of 30. I'll get a new color. Cosine of 30. 3 over square root. No, square root of 3 over 2. So with that in mind, we can now solve for this business over here. So we have sine of 45, which is, I'll just move it over, which is 1 over square root of 2. And then we have cosine of 45 minus this. So first we need to get the bottom to have the same, the two bottom numbers to have the same denominator. So with 1 over square root 2, we can rewrite this as 2. We can write this as 2 over square root of 2 over 2 if we multiply both sides by square root of 2, both numerator and denominator, sorry. So now we have 1 over square root of 2 over this minus square root of 3 over 2. And remember, since we are dividing fractions, we need to keep it is essentially multiplying by the reciprocal of the bottom number. So it's 1 over square root of 2 times 2 over square root of 2 minus square root of 3. Because now, since it's the same denominator, we can combine them, and it's just 1, 2. And here again, we can say, again, this is equal to square root of 2 over 2. So these 2's cancel out. And now we have the square root of 2 over square root of 2 minus square root of 3. So how would we do this? Since these are square roots, we cannot just calculate it right away. But we can find a way to sort of get rid of the square roots, in the denominator. So I need some space over here at the top. There's a simple trick you can use, a relatively simple trick to do this. You need to multiply both top and bottom by, for this case, you need to multiply both by 3 plus square root of 2. Square root of 3 plus square root of 2. So now you'll see by some multiplication we'll have square root of 2, we'll have 2 and negative 3, and we'll also have 2 times square root of 2 times square root of 3, but also 2 times negative square root of 3, so that cancels out. In the end, we're just left with 2 minus 3, which is equal to negative 1. And then for the top, we'll have square root of 2 times square root of 3, which is square root of 6. And then we have just 2. Just 2. So in the end, you'll divide by negative 1. Which will give you negative 2 minus square root of 6. And we can easily estimate square root of 6 using what we already know about square roots. So over here, we have square root of 4 is equal to 2, square root of 9 is equal to 3. Square root of 6, it would be closer to 4, so I'd say maybe it's like 2.4. So we have that times a negative. So in the end, it could be something like negative 2 minus 2.4, but it's just 2 point something. The something does not matter too much. In the end, we get negative 4 point something. And now, what is the largest integer that is smaller than this negative 4 point something? It is negative 5. So our answer is negative 5, and we are done.